Hi, thank you for coming here. Just one thing I want to promise you in this video for the next 10 15 minutes. I don't know how long it is going to last, but if you watch this video till the end, there is something very deep that is going to shift, and that is going to shift for you for your entire life and for your entire life, and many things will start making sense to you. I'm going to talk to you about one emotion, one single emotion that makes you kill yourself. One emotion, one feeling that is actually the root cause of many, many other different disempowering feelings. So I really want you that you approach this video, the content for the next 10 15 minutes with very, very deep sincerity. Try to understand what I'm sharing with you, and hopefully you transform and make a change out of it. One emotion, one thing that really shrivels you up to death, that makes you kill your own self. One emotion which is the root cause out of which many, many other disempowering beliefs, many other disempowering emotions are arising. And one of the most, or the biggest obstacle, I would say, for your growth is this feeling of guilt. Many times we keep feeling guilty without even knowing the reason. The feeling, the emotion of guilt is so deep. It is so deep that we don't even realize. It is so unconsciously there in our own life since the time we were 1 year or 2 years old, that it has unconsciously ingrained, subtly ingrained in our unconscious mind. And we don't realize how it is impacting our life. If you understand this one thing, if you really understand this one thing, it will not only change your life, it is going to change the life of your children and of many, many others around you, right? So guilt is a feeling that makes you despise yourself. Guilt is a feeling that makes you feel like a culprit, like a criminal in your own eyes. At times, guilt is a feeling that makes you literally makes you to kill yourself. The best part or the worst part about guilt is that it is unconscious. You don't even realize. Sometimes people don't even know why they feel guilty. You do go do some shopping for yourself, you feel guilty. You go eat something that you love, you feel guilty. You go for a holiday, come back, you feel guilty, because it is so unconsciously ingrained in our heads, in our subconscious mind, that we don't realize, but we just keep feeling guilty. हो रहा है, guilty सा feel हो रहा है. And this guilt puts us in an energy of inaction. What is the reason? Since the very childhood, even now, when we are raising our own children, as soon as we have children, one of the goals, one of the tasks that we as parents take on ourselves is making a child accustomed, acceptable to society. If he doesn't feel like singing to an audience of friends, we somewhere he sees us saying sorry, okay, 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 he's not singing, so sorry. Every time anything happens and we compel the children to say sorry, he comes and spills something on our expensive shirt or t-shirt, we makes him to say sorry. We This whole habit of saying sorry is so deeply ingrained that we don't realize, but the child who's just new in this world, learning the emotions, is still mixed up in his head what to say, what to feel, but feels guilty because he can see that his or her parent is not happy, is his or her parent is upset because of something he did. अब उसको नहीं पता कि वो कैसे express करे. He doesn't understand how to express, how to feel sorry. That's not how he's been told, right? But he feels guilty. And that is the time, that is the moment, anything a child would do, and we tell him to say sorry. You did not do this, say sorry. We try to teach him so-called good manners which make him acceptable to the society. And in that whole process of making that child acceptable to the society, whatever he does, if everyone is talking and he feels like singing, we make him to say sorry. Because rather than saying sorry, rather than making him feel guilty, rather than having this feeling, oh my God, as a parent, I have to do so much, the child unconsciously starts feeling guilt and guilt and guilt. One word a child is most, what the child most hears while growing up is no, don't, you can't. No, don't, you can't. I was attending this talk by Mahatria, and he said by the age of 14, a child has learned, has heard a phrase called you can't 1,48,000 times. How many times? 1,48,000 times a child has heard the phrase you can't by the time that child is 14. Now imagine when this child is now going out in the world, wanting to fulfill his dreams, wanting to do something for himself, and there's 1,48,000 times that voice comes, you can't. There is desire, there is fire, but there is this programmed, conditioned mind which says you can't. We see our parents working hard, but there's nothing much we can do. Our parents also sometimes try, sometimes parents may, in their whole love for the child, your as a parent, the intention was good. There is a knife in his hand, but the child might cut his hand. But the way you tell, the way you express might make the child feel guilty. The child was carrying a glass made of glass, of course, right? And he, by chance, because of soft fingers, made it fell down and the glass broke. And we make him feel guilty. We make him feel how expensive it was, or maybe how important it was, or maybe how the set of those six glasses is now destroyed. And what the child will do, start feeling guilty. This is so unconscious. If you would realize a child, if not eating properly, if he's not liking something, then also we would somewhere end up making that child only feel guilty. So since that very early days of childhood, these feelings of guilt start building up in people in the unconscious. And now when the child grows, this feeling of, because this feeling of guilt makes you feel unworthy. It reduces your self-esteem to minimal level. I was talking to a very, very learned person, and I was telling him now the children are young and the world is so fast paced. What do we do? How do we stop them, or how do we protect them? We cannot be there with them all the time, and there is so much happening around. Just one thing he shared with me. He said, build strong self esteem in your children. Because a child of strong self esteem will not tolerate shit done to him. So, that is a child who has strong self esteem will raise his voice every time. So, build strong self esteem in your children. And now, when we are raising children in this atmosphere, in this mahal where there is unconscious guilt in a child, where this feeling of unworthiness is there, just imagine how this child is going to behave. And then, when a person starts feeling unworthy, that is when the whole process of blaming oneself starts, the process of assuming false responsibility. So many times, me or you yourself would agree that we're not actually feeling guilty, but we are trying, by feeling guilty, we are just trying to assume a false responsibility of something that did not went well, that did not go well, right? That is why it is so important to be very, very conscious, be very, very mindful of these feelings. And these feelings have been ingrained from the time we would not even realize. How we are eating food, we are breathing, we are driving a car, we are digesting our food. We don't realize it is so unconscious, it is so natural. That is how this is also so unnatural. And this leads to a behavior which is like punishing oneself. This is like a self sabotaging behavior, right? And every time we just make the child say sorry. Every time he does something, he spills some water, spills something, he doesn't know that it's a plain wall and he should not scribble. And we make him say sorry so many times. We make sure that he doesn't repeat. I'm not saying it is right or wrong, but I'm just saying that there's a different way to teach, right? There's a way we can make the child learn, right? So all these behaviors are leading to guilt, and further, this whole programming of unworthiness leads to a very, very deep impact where a person feels so unworthy that even when there is good things in life, a person feels that I don't deserve good things happening to me. I am unworthy. And that is the reason this feeling of I am not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not handsome enough, I'm not intelligent enough, I'm not resourceful enough, I'm not a good speaker, I'm not confident enough. All these feelings start with this feeling of guilt because there is unworthiness within. And this is by far one of the biggest reasons, biggest obstacles in the most even learned people's success. I know my friends who are blessed, who have the best of degrees, the best of resources, still they're not taking action because somewhere the feeling of I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not confident enough, I'm not intelligent enough is stopping them. And it is within me also, just that I'm more conscious now and I try to fight with it. It's not that I'm over it, but yes, there is more consciousness, there's more mindfulness to it. But this feeling of I am not enough, I'm not good enough is the biggest killer of your own dreams. And guilt ends up this way, guilt ends up killing you. If not physically, if not mentally, it kills your spirit, it kills your love, it kills your learning ability, it kills your good deserving feeling. It kills this real feeling that I am the most powerful manifestation of the God, the universe, which created this world. It creates a unalignment, a disalignment between what you really are and what you are now living. This feeling of guilt. So it is very, very important to be very, very conscious about it. And guilt has a inherent nature of hiding oneself, hiding itself. A person feeling guilty will always try to hide himself. And when a person tries to hide himself, say you find true love in your life, a person who has guilt within will never be face to face with true love, because true love is innocent. True love sees you like the manifestation of God. This is how it is, when you're in true love, you feel that person is God and you're ready to do anything for that person. But a person who's guilty feels unworthy, feels something is wrong, feels something is not right. Therefore, there are trust issues when you're face to face with love, because there is feeling of guilt that is stopping you. Very, very important to overcome this. Stop judging yourself. Love, true innocence doesn't judge. It just loves. It just flows, right? Our existence, the God, the universe existence, howsoever you want to call it is not there to punish us. It is there to support us in whatever we want to do. That is why when we think unworthy, it is there to support us in being unworthy. When we think worthy, it is there to support us in being worthy. When we want to do something, it is there to support us. When we want to find reasons and stories and all the things that it cannot happen, it is there to support us even in there. When we feel I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, that is there to support you, give you that feeling that okay, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, right? So that is why guilt is so damaging. Don't don't let it stop you, don't let it be an obstacle for you. You have to learn. What I'm sharing is the key to it. You have to learn to start forgiving you every time. You have to make this a habit, once, twice, hundreds of times, thousands of times, millions of times. You have to make this a conscious habit to learn to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for whatever you might have done, you might be doing every single day. Making mistakes is human. Making mistakes is human. Mistakes are a framework of evolution. Evolution will happen when mistakes will be made, but feeling guilty is will never let you evolve out of your mistakes. Will never let you make this a springboard of further growth if you will keep feeling guilty, because you will not look beyond. So it is very, very important to start developing this habit, how you can start, start to learn, forgive yourself. And this will need practice every time you feel, because guilt has this nature. When you find refuge, it will let you in the energy of inaction. It will let you in the energy of assuming false responsibility, right? And that is why it happens. There is inaction, still you know you must do something, and still you don't take action towards it. So there will be a time when you might feel bad about yourself, you might feel you've done something. Please take a moment, sit back, take a moment, take a deep breath, and say, I forgive myself. I forgive myself. When you start evolving above your guilt, above all these emotions that are holding you back, you will experience true freedom. True freedom. Have you heard? Uh, so every time coming out of guilt, sorry is not the reason, because to say sorry is very easy. To correct it, to really rectify it is what will free you. Have you watched this movie called Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara? Is this scene I really, really love from this movie, when because Hrithik Roshan and Farhan Akhtar, both of them have an issue from their college, that Farhan Akhtar started dating Hrithik's wife and he wants to say sorry, but he doesn't accept. And finally, there is a very emotional scene when uh, Farhan Akhtar met his father, and he's also very emotional, and he says, uh, deeply says sorry to him, because before that Hrithik Roshan has said, sorry tab bolna jab yahan se aaye, right? Sorry tab bolna jab yahan se aaye, right? So it's okay, don't take it too much, but the whole point is start, learn to start forgiving yourself, right? And one of the other things you can stop feeling guilty is being in the moment. Every time you feel your mind is going haywire because of something, some past, please start taking deep breaths. Say, this is where I am now, and where I go. What is my energy now? What is my feeling now? Is all that is going to matter. So don't let the feeling of guilt kill you, despise you, make you feel like a culprit, a criminal in your own eyes. It is very unconscious, very subtle. You don't even realize that it is there. Start being more conscious, more mindful. All the other damaging, self sabotaging behavior is arising from guilt. This feeling of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not smart enough, that is where it is finding its root from. So you have to rectify, you have to fix this now for your future success. So talk to me more if you want about this. We can discuss, we can have a brainstorming session. Comment, let me know how you like this video. But this feeling is really, really deep, because guilt stops you from loving yourself, stops you from loving yourself since childhood. No one has told us how to love yourself. In fact, no one has told us that you have to love yourself. How to is a later thing. No one has told that you have to respect yourself, you have to love yourself, that there is God within you, that you are a part of God, you are a part of the universe. No one told you this. You have to move to self love, because when you will move to self love, that is when you experience true joy, true happiness in life, right? But till the time the feeling, the emotions of guilt are suppressing, you will never feel that joy. So self love is going to be your door to freedom. But start becoming more conscious, more mindful about it. Thank you.